think the Google Pixel Fold is in for a rude awakening once it shows up next month. And Samsung is going to make it even more difficult for them to sell phones. Why is that? Well, we've taken a look. We know what the pricing is, $17.99 for the Google Pixel Fold. That's a lot of money. I think that's more money than most people anticipated their first generation foldable being. Well, right now, you can get the Z Fold4 from Samsung for $13.99. No commitment, no activation, nothing. Straight up, walk into Best Buy, pay $13.99 and walk out. And what's even better is you can actually trade in some stuff and help lower that price. So the Z Fold 4, I already figured was going to be a big problem for the Pixel Fold because, well, it's a very polished product. This is the fourth iteration. It's the best version that we have of the Z Fold already to date. Plus, you have S Pen support, which is one of the things I love the most about it. And the S Pen is what sold me on the Z Fold. I bought into it. I got the original Z Fold. I got the Z Fold 2. But what was really missing that made it part of my daily device carrying strategy was the S Pen. And as soon as that came on board, I locked in and I use it all the time. I use my Z Fold 4 every night for hours and hours and hours. I use it for work. I use it for play. I use it for browsing the internet. I make all my thumbnails for my videos with this. It's indispensable for me. I've said it many times, it's replaced tablet usage for me in my daily usage. So, yeah, this right here, the S Pen, is already something that I think makes people really wonder, what was Google thinking with the Pixel Fold? Why wouldn't you bring some sort of a stylus element into it? Because whenever you have this big screen and you talk about it being able to go into tablet mode and using it as you would a tablet but on the go, you kind of need, I think you need a stylus. So the S Pen is just one thing, but then the price. So we know that the Google Tensor 2 is a good chip. But when you take a look at it on paper, when you look at it from thermal perspective, when you look at it from a power perspective, a battery life perspective, it just doesn't hold up as well when you put up against, let's say a Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 that we're going to see in the Z Fold 5 this fall, which is really, well, maybe even late summer. They're saying it could launch as early as July because of the early date and the pushing of the Pixel Fold. So that would be interesting to see. But I think for most people, the Z Fold 5 isn't it. Now, a lot of folks that are on the fence waiting to get a foldable, the price is really still the big hurdle you have to get over. I think most people have largely resolved themselves to the fact that they're pretty durable. I think the Z Fold 4, the Z Fold 3 have proven they're pretty durable, and we're supposed to get the most durable version ever in the Z Fold 5 coming up. But the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1 that's in the Z Fold 4 is a really good chip. It really is. And it's something that they did a good job fixing up the problems we had with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 earlier last year that created a whole host of problems for phones like the S22 series, the OnePlus 10 series, and also even the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV, which it had terrible heating problems. So the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1 that's in the Z Fold 4 is a very good chip, and it fixed a lot of the battery life issues that I had with the Z Fold 3. I like the Z Fold 3, but the battery life was just not very good. So they changed things up a little bit. We got the S22 series cameras in here, which are pretty good. And I know that's one of the things that the Pixel Fold is holding out on. They're trying to say that you're going to have the best cameras in a foldable, which that's fine. But whenever we talk about foldables, I think that, I made this argument before, I feel like if you're paying $17.99, you should have the best camera experience possible. So I don't want to discredit the Pixel Fold for going that route. But as I use the Pixel, not the Pixel, but as I use the Fold more and more, a lot of the emphasis is more so on multitasking, the tablet form factor, the front screen, and other implements like the S Pen. I don't think a lot of people go out and buy the foldable phone so they can go out and shoot National Geographic shots, right? That's what most people buy the S23 Ultra for. That's what most people buy the Pixel 7 Pro for. They don't usually want to go out and get a foldable. So, but I could be wrong, and totally, if I'm wrong, if I'm off base, tell me in the comments. I'd like to know if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people, when they look at the Fold, they don't go, ooh, I wonder what kind of camera it has in it. So I think the Pixel Fold is, one thing they're doing right is the front screen. The form factor, I think, is better because as much as this has gotten improved ever since we had the initial Z Fold, it's still kind of thin. It's narrow. It's not quite wide enough. So what we see with the Pixel Fold is very much with what we see with the Oppo Find N, is it's a little bit shorter, but it's wider. And I like that form factor better. I think also for some folks, it might be easier to hold one-handed, and it's going to be more useful on the front screen. And I said this when I had the Z Fold, Z Fold 2, Z Fold 3, that I use the front screen a lot more so than I use the inside screen. Now, at nighttime, when I'm at home, I'm laying in bed, I'm making my thumbnails, I'm playing games, whatever. Yeah, I use the inside screen. But when I'm on the go, I use the front screen because I'm not always like, I'm at HEB, that's a grocery store here in Texas, by the way. I'm at the grocery store, I'm in the car, I'm out doing things, like I'm not continually opening my phone up and opening it for the big screen. So I think that there is room for improvement, and I think that this alternative design we have with the Pixel Fold is attractive. I just don't think the price is attractive. And I think there are some concerns about it being first generation technology. Now, here's the thing. I'm not worried about the screen or the hinge. Like the screen and the hinge are basically like fifth generation Samsung hardware as far as what I know. So I think it's going to be a good hinge. I think it's going to be reliable. I think the build quality is probably going to be good. I think the concerns are how well the Tensor will work on that elevated platform, what kind of battery life we're going to see. I think that it's overpriced and there's no S Pen, and also we got to see how it goes. It's the first Pixel Fold, right? There's surely going to be some growing pains somewhere. But I think most people probably expect that when they saw it on board. So I don't think that's going to be critical. But being able to pick up this for $13.99, the price that we really hoped that the Pixel Fold would come in. Like, I think the Pixel Fold at $13.99 is a good price. And you're going to get some savings because you get an option for a free, basically, $400 watch, which most people don't even want. I ran a poll the other day asking people, like, how big of an incentive is this Pixel watch to you and your Pixel Fold pre-ordering and prospective purchase? And it's like basically none. Like, nobody really cares that much. Most people that want the Pixel watch have it, or it's not really a deciding factor in buying the Pixel Fold. Not to insult anyone, I'm sure some people are really excited about it, and that's totally fine. But I'd rather them have a price cut. I'd rather them have the option of, okay, you can get the free Pixel watch, or we'll give you we'll give you $300 off. I think that that would make sales a lot more attractive for folks, because then you can get it at the price you feel like you should get it. So when you look at a $13.99 like Z Fold 4, and what we have with the software, like the software on here is top notch. It's been through a couple evolutions and updates. It's been optimized. They've built in more multitasking. You've of course got DeX as well with this. So the Z Fold 4, I think, from a total package perspective, is probably more attractive to buyers. Plus, it has a Samsung name attached to it. Plus, it's not a Google Tensor, which a lot of people still believe is completely an Exynos chip that they've rebadged. So, yeah, I think I don't think that the Pixel Fold should be $17.99. I think at $13.99 it would have a lot better success out in the market, and I think we'll probably see a price drop probably by this fall. I think that you'll be able to get it cheaper. Once we get into the holiday shopping season, Google knows that people who want it are going to pay $17.99 for it. So why give it to it at a discount at first when we know people will pay that price? Then inevitably there's going to be some sales and discounts along the way, probably a month or two thereafter. So we'll see what happens with it. I've pre-ordered one. I'm going to get it. Y'all know I covered the Pixel stuff here on the channel. I'm not trying to be punitive towards Google here at all. Y'all know that I love Google. I love the Pixel stuff. But I have to look at it from a value perspective. I like to look at this from a customer perspective when I go, okay, people who are looking at foldables out on the market right now, do you want to pay $13.99 and get a Z Fold 4, tried and true, S Pen support, and we already know that it's a good product? Or do you want to take a risk and do the $17.99 bit for the Pixel Fold, right? Is that going to be your first foray into the foldable phone world? So that's what I want to talk about. But yeah, $13.99, that's really good, especially considering you don't have to sign up for anything, no 2-year commitment, no activation required at Best Buy. I actually have a link in the description if you're interested. But yeah, you can go there and you can just walk in, get it for $13.99, and you can trade in a phone. Like iPhone 14 Pro Max are giving like $650, which is okay. I think it's probably pretty decent for being the phone's getting close to a year old now. The trade-in prices are not amazing on anything right now because the consumer cell phone market industry is just terrible. So trade-ins across the board are not great outside of carriers, because when you get to carriers, they'll lock you in. They'll lock you into a 2-3 year agreement whenever it comes to like your installment plan and all that stuff. So they have some wiggle room. But when you're buying things outright, there's not a whole lot of good deals right now. So being able to see this for $13.99, we've got the Z Fold 5 on the horizon. That's going to be attractive to a lot of folks. So we'll see what happens. Like I want the Pixel Fold to succeed. I want them to drop the price very quickly, despite the fact that's going to anger people who are early day one adopters. But they need to get the price down quickly to try and get adoption rate higher so people will buy more of it. So that way it will be successful. And I want it to be successful because we need competition. it's only the second foldable to enter into the US market. So, yeah, they're a little behind the times with the US stuff, but also I'm very intrigued because I'm seeing stuff now rumored on the upcoming OnePlus foldable. And I think that's probably going to be the meal ticket for a lot of people once we get there, maybe around this fall. But anyway, that's all I've got. What do y'all think? Do you think the Pixel Fold, do you think the Z Fold 4 is a better buy at $13.99? I think it's a pretty good deal. So let's talk about it. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.